So in this section, we're going to be starting with looking at solving linear inequalities. And then we're going to move on to the higher content, which involves quadratic inequalities and also drawing inequalities as well, and finding regions. So what I thought I'd do is I'd do a quick reintroduction of what inequalities are in their notation. We'll look at number lines and things like that as well. We have already met inequalities in the number section very briefly, and it's popped up a couple of other times as well. So I just want to kind of like reintroduce it, make sure that we're clear on it. So we have these symbols. So this one is less than. And then we also have this one, so with the extra line on the bottom, which means less than or equal to. Okay, and then of course we will have greater than, and then greater than or equal to. And these are read from left to right. Okay, so in these interpretations, right? So if I had something like 3 is less than 5, that makes sense, okay? We understand that. So when we write that down, we usually read from left to right, 3 is less than 5. But of course, you could read it the other way around as well and say 5 is greater than 3. Now, when you're going from right to left, you're interpreting it in the same way as you would this. Okay, because you've got essentially the wider bit of the symbol is next to the larger number. Okay, so you could read it either that way or that way, and it means the same thing. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is then interpreting things like this, x is less than 5, on a number line. So we need to know, how do we do that? How do we make that different from less than or equal to 5? How are we going to make that distinction? And likewise for greater than and greater than equal to. How are we going to draw something like this, where we've got a double inequality? Again, I've kind of done little bits on that before in the number section, as I said, but we're going to see it a little bit more thoroughly this time, and then we're going to build on it, as I said, to linear inequalities, solving those, and then moving on to the higher content afterwards.